Have you heard? There are crazy people out there spinning with rubbing alcohol. It's actually not as crazy as you might think. We're pretty used to using petrochemicals for spinning fire, but it turns out that there are other chemicals we can use, and sometimes they're even a better fit for our performance venues. Drex here from DrexFactor.com, and today we're talking about the use of alcohol as a fuel for spinning props. Can it be done safely? Yes, but there are going to be a lot of caveats attached. See, alcohols fundamentally work in much the same way that hydrocarbons like white gas and lamp oil do to convert a liquid fuel into light and heat. But because the chemical structure of alcohol is a bit different than hydrocarbons, they also have slightly different burn characteristics. Today, we're going to navigate what they're good for and how you can use them in your own fire spinning. Make sure to hit that subscribe button as well as the notification bell to know when my next video drops. Before we dive in, I just want to take a moment to give a shout out to the friends of the channel. Big thanks to Dark Monk, Emazing Lights, Flow Toys, Spinballs, Spinsconsin, and Ultrapoi for helping to make the videos on this channel possible. You can visit them all on the web by following the links down in the description of this video. So we're going to start this off with a massive disclaimer. All the information contained within this video has to do with isopropyl alcohol, not methyl alcohol and not ethyl alcohol. This means that you should not attempt to spin fire with any hard alcohols meant for consumption, whether they be rum, vodka, whiskey, or any other type of liquor, no matter what the proof is. And man, I really hope this goes without saying, but in case it doesn't, don't try to light your wicks up by soaking them in wine or beer. It's not dangerous, you'll just wind up with sopping wet wicks that you won't be able to light up until you dry them back out. Methyl alcohol is sometimes used to get different colored flames out of your prop, and that's a topic for another video entirely. For today's purposes, we are just talking about isopropyl and nothing else. So first off, some science. I'm not going to go super deep into the chemistry here because, quite frankly, I'm just not qualified to, but suffice it to say that all fuels we use for fire spinning have at least one thing in common. They contain both hydrogen as well as carbon. When combined with oxygen in a reaction that we call combustion, the hydrogen and carbon split apart and bond with oxygen, creating heat, light, water, and various carbon byproducts. Hydrocarbons like white gas and lamp oil are made up of various permutations of hydrogen and carbon bonds that can form rings, long chains, and a variety of other structures. Combustion breaks up parts of these chains to create the fire that we all know and love. Alcohols are likewise made up of different arrangements of carbon and hydrogen atoms, but also add what's called a functional group that places a single hydrogen bonded to an oxygen and is connected to the rest of the molecule. So, both hydrocarbons and alcohols contain all the individual chemical pieces we need for combustion. They just arrange them in slightly different ways. And this means that they also burn in slightly different ways. So now that we've established that chemically there's no reason why an alcohol can't be used for combustion, let's talk specifically about isopropyl and why you'd want to use it as a fuel for fire spinning. Isopropyl has a pretty major advantage over hydrocarbons in that it produces little to no smoke or soot. That's a pretty big deal if you're spinning indoors and don't want to make the air your audience is breathing noxious or unsafe. Because of this, isopropyl, or just ISO for short, is becoming the fuel of choice for indoor spinning in many cities across the United States. Okay, so do you just run down to your local drugstore and pick up some rubbing alcohol and go spin with it? Well, not quite. It's a little bit more complicated than that. To show you why, I'm going to do a little experiment with fuel mixtures. I'm going to show you what burning pure ISO looks like as well as what its limitations are. To start with, I'm going to pick up some 91% pure isopropyl alcohol. You can find it in many department and drugstores. Now, let's take a look at what burning pure ISO looks like. I'm going to have my girlfriend light up her palm torches with it because they're kind of an ideal use case for this fuel. Notice how as soon as she starts to move her hands quickly, the flame dims quite a bit? This effect becomes much more pronounced the faster a prop moves. Now let's try this with my Ultrapoi. When I get them up to speed, the flame either gets unusably dim or just blows out entirely. If we compare this to the burn characteristics of white gas, we see that the flame stays consistently bright for about 2 to 3 minutes and then begins to dim rapidly before going out entirely. ISO, on the other hand, dims rapidly but stays lit for a comparable amount of time. So does this mean we can only use ISO for palm torches? No, but it does mean that we have to get creative. The best way we currently have to get the best elements out of both ISO and white gas is actually to create a mixture out of both of them. To show you this in action, we're going to do a little experiment. we're going to light up both my Ultrapoi as well as my girlfriend's fire fans using different fuel mixtures and compare how bright they are and how long they burn. I'm going to be spinning my choreography from last December, so I'll be doing consistent burns between takes for comparison. We're going to start off with a fuel that is a 50-50 mix by volume of both ISO and white gas. With fire fans, you can see that while the wicks still dim just slightly when moving around rapidly, the effect isn't nearly as pronounced. The fuel mixture is ideal for props that don't move around very rapidly, like fans, double staffs, contact staffs, and triads. If we switch over to my Ultrapoi, however, you can see that the dimming when I spin is still very pronounced, though accidentally putting them out isn't as common. Unless you've got additional lighting sources, this probably isn't a good fit for performance, as the poi will be too dim to create much of an effect for the audience. Now we're going to switch over to a 75-25 mix with 3 parts white gas and 1 part ISO. With fire fans, this is really close to what pure white gas would look like. There's no dimming and the flame is nice and bright. And if we switch over to poi, we'll likewise see something that's pretty close to the burn characteristics we'd expect from white gas. There may still be a slight dimming when the poi really get moving, but overall this isn't bad and is totally usable for performance. This is an ideal fuel mixture for non-static flexible tools like poi, meteor, and puppy hammer. So obvious question, if we're only using 25% ISO, then what's the point of using it at all? Well, bear in mind that you're still going to produce less soot and smoke with it, so it's still super helpful for indoor situations. It should also be said that in a lot of places, white gas is hard to come by, so being able to dilute it with another chemical that's much easier to find will help you get every gallon of white gas to go just a little bit farther. That said, if you're outdoors and your audience is pretty far away from you, absolutely use white gas. So, to summarize, ISO is a commonly available alcohol that burns with a largely smokeless and sootless flame, making it well suited to indoor fire spinning. It can be used as is for slow-moving static props, but will need to be mixed with white gas in order to be usable for any more rapidly moving prop. A mix of 50-50 white gas and ISO will totally do the trick for most static props like fans and staffs. And a mix of 75-25 white gas to ISO will work for faster moving flexible props like poi and meteor. For now, go forth and spin with ISO. It's easy to find and great for indoor spinning. As with all fire spinning, make sure to follow proper safety precautions as outlined in the Flow Arts Institute's safety certification course. Just because ISO burns dimmer than white gas, it doesn't mean that it isn't dangerous. One final note, if you're using pure ISO, you can return it to the container that you bought it in. If you created a fuel mixture, however, you want to return it to the container that belonged to the most volatile chemical. In this case, if you mixed it with white gas, it goes back in the white gas container, and be sure to mark it with a Sharpie. Special thanks to Morgan Howe for her help in writing the science portion of this script. Have you used ISO for a fire spinning gig? What was your experience like? Let me know down in the comments. Before I send you guys off, I just want to send out some massive thanks to my awesome supporters on Patreon. Your support is what makes this channel and the videos on it possible. Finally, if you like this video and you want to see more like it, please hit the subscribe button by clicking up here. Over here we have a few videos that you may enjoy, including a playlist of videos that are just like the one that you just watched. Finally, if you'd like to support the work that I do, I have a Patreon available by clicking down here. Thank you so much in advance, and peace.